I don't say this very often, but this camera is a bit of a lot of a lifeline. I can live without it. I'd come out with it. You know, the camera's running out of battery or whatever. I love you, camera. Camera, you listen to everything I say, and I always, as I'm talking, you think I'm being a bit arrogant when I say this, but it would answer the question as to why you think I keep talking to no one in particular. Well, you have to somehow, on some level, fashion, as a writer or someone using a voice, a particular sense of what you think is worth saying. And it has to come up against someone that might find it worth listening to. It has to imagine itself to plow through the murkiest, darkest depths of human ignorance, apathy, or collective pathology. It has to go through the murky depths of fog upon fog of war and human degenerate behavior, conditioning, and righteous emulation of extraordinarily difficult economic, social, biological, and metaphysical conditions, spread out and splayed about languages of diverse interest or not in the well-being of anyone, at costs that could scarcely be enumerated adequately in a million years. And the length of the universe seems to be roughly proportional to how long it would take to enumerate all the costs of believing in that universe. And you have to talk to people who live in that universe. Or you have to talk to people out there, you might listen to it and go, hey, this is what I've always wanted to hear. This fits in with the other things that I've thought. Because as a thinker and as a mind, you're doing lots of things in the world. Now and then you're thinking about certain things, and you have thoughts about human suffering, and you have questions in every pain you've suffered about why you suffered it, because you clearly didn't deserve to be treated that way, and nobody does. And you have anger, and you have unfinished business with people, and you don't want to meet these people when you go to heaven, and you're like, when I die, even when I'm in total bliss, I'm going to fuck that person up, and in here you see the extraordinary injustice that people are relieved of all their suffering when they die, because down deep you feel like there are some people who should suffer because of what they've done to you and other people, right? And there isn't really a philosophy to help us understand how we could feel that way, but that doesn't have to be made so. But people deserve all kinds of things. Is it for you to decide that someone should suffer, even if they've made you suffer? Would that really be helpful? I think, you have the right to respond to every situation, and then based on the conditions, irrespective of the comfort of people, say, are hurting you. But you still have to consider the comfort of your predator. In fact, usually the comfort of the predator in an economic world has to be considered more than the comfort of the prey, which is the beginning, middle, and end of all violence, right? Because some people's comfort seems to be considered more than others, depending on how well they emulate the ultimate predatory nature of the global economic dominion. There's my water bottle. I knew I left it here. Yay! I'm whole again, my pink water bottle is here. I came back a day later, and I didn't shed a tear. Here, I'll show you the happy thing. The item of my happiness is my water bottle. Bum, 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 bum. Okay. I've tasted violence and felt violence and had it sting my blood, and I've had orders of different well-meaning sociopaths deliver incredibly violent, murderous, parasitical toxicity into my brain that disturb my daily thoughts even years after the fact. Do you think that's legal? Do you think that's legal? Do you think I did something to deserve that? Well, you're making her threats real, don't you? Because her threat to me is that I should leave, or she's going to tell me lies. It was written. So, does anyone want me to go shopping? Is that her request? And psychopaths will find a way to benefit from pitting one type of person against another using lies. That's how wars are created. We could scarcely deprive psychopath of the ability to do something that is necessary for all organized killing and massacre. So wars is to be able to pit people against each other. I've watched all kinds of sociopaths do this, even from their hospital bed while they're dying, is to make up stories that make other people around them angry at other people. Because it's easier to feel like you're in control of things and that you might not have been able to control in your life. Wow. It's been refrigerated overnight. That's pretty good. Right? It sounds all very simple, but it's not. It's painful. That means that people you're helping, people you're near when you're shopping, people at a blood clinic, people at a dentist, people at an organization for human happiness or health or yoga, right, might need to hurt you. And that's just it. And if you say no, or they're interrupted, maybe 10 years down the road, you'll be in another class, and they'll learn of your presence there, and they'll talk to a few people, and they'll hurt you. And they'll organize and hurt you and organize and hurt you until they feel better about how victimized they were, that you interrupted their ability to prey on something or someone. And you can be glad that you interrupted them. And if you do it right, they'll be very much more interrupted, and other people around them, accomplices, will be interrupted in what they're doing. Oh, at least you can also elicit in them a very tangible fear that if they continue down certain paths, they're going to be interrupted in their ability to continue carrying on their life the way that they have. In the course of which you might lose the ability to carry on your life a certain way, or you'll be killed. That's what happens to the man in spirit. That's what happens to people like me. And it started when I was young, right? The first play school daycare my parents ever took me to, there were two white women or girls who sexually molested me. So you get prepared to accept, as a boy, all kinds of female aggression that isn't considered aggression by most women. Right? I've talked to a lot of women, interviewed women about my life. They do not consider these types of things to be predatory whatsoever. It doesn't matter how you feel, whether you piss your pants, whether you're traumatized. The fact that I'm 50 and can still recollect vividly in my mind my first day of daycare should tell you that something's fucking wrong. That I sat in my own piss and shit for an hour until my mom picked me up. Right? Think about it. But most females don't think that's wrong. Because of the way people are trained to blame the victim, to blame the child, blame the victim. What is about you that you pissed yourself? What is it about you that you did this or went there? Oh, you feel this way because of this. You just feel this way because of that. The average white woman is like, you just feel this way because of this. Oh, I felt like that woman raped me. Oh, you just feel this way because of this. Let me help you feel differently. Isn't that what you want? Or don't you want to feel better? Let me help you feel better. But you don't seem to really empathize. Oh, I empathize. Oh, trust me. You just have trust issues. Learn to trust me, and you'll be a better person. And this is the sexual predator. This is the white female psychiatrist. This is the male child psychologist. This is how white people, this is how Western people, this is how people in the economic systems treat the victims of violent crime. Those who even sustain any neurosis or any inability, if you will, to suppress their gag reflex. The gag reflex really is a reflex to gag yourself. Hey, are we having fun yet? I found my water bottle. Aces. I'm whole again. I came home and I was like, my bag is a bit light. And it's like, oh, I left my water bottle somewhere. And then you're thinking, fuck, you walk all over the place. It's like, well, there's likely I left it here. Because when I leave things, I leave them down in the ground. All right, I'm going to say something totally positive. There's really beautiful moss on this log. I had 2 good craps today and a really good piss. And life is not complete piss, although it seems that way. People's personality disorders / complexes exist and behave exactly the way you'd expect if people lived in an ocean of psychopathic piss. That's exactly right. Humans take on their environment, they take on their medium. And I've met many female psychiatrists, psychologists, white females, wealthy females often, who have no interest in that type of logic. That all of your feelings, all of your judgment, all of your voice in what is or is not right to you and your body and your mind throughout your entire very private, personal, intimate existence and or survival and all the work that takes, right, is not connected to your environment and has no can't really know anything about the environment until she tells me what to know. And it's all about telling people what they know. It's not about listening to what they say. You listen enough to be able to tell them what they should say and what they should feel and what they should do. Their voice is a problem, really, that they're constantly trying to solve. The psychiatrist, the white female, the sexual predator always wants to solve the problem of you believing you have a voice by asking you questions, getting you to say things, and then ignoring your answer. They already come at you beginning, middle, and end as though you don't have a voice. They're ready to rise up and behave that way at any moment. How could you possibly trust them? Alcohol isn't the only thing that causes that. It's just the thing that brings it out, so you can't deny it as much as you normally do. It brings out the worst things in people. If you go to someone's house or you meet people, and someone or a few people there don't like you, maybe a girl hits on you and you know you're not into it, and she hates your guts for eternity, and people start drinking, what do you think they're going to behave like towards you? They're going to be very honest. They're going to be honestly belligerent. And people are listening to them. No one knows. Oh, they'll laugh. Oh, Colleen, she's just that way. Don't you worry about it, Landon. And I'm like, I'm going to go. No, don't be that way. I'm going to go. Yeah, Colleen's a sexual predator. Oh, you're crazy. Oh, fuck you. Yeah, leave. We don't want anything to do with you, right? And that's how groups of alcoholics will behave. The victim is the one who basically will bear the imputation that is there to be attributed in any conflict. The scapegoat will bear such an imputation and the attribution of all potential imputations as to the wrongness of someone. So in a conflict, you might think someone has to be wrong. The scapegoat will bear that wrong. It is true that most of the people who call the RCMP are the people that are most protected by the RCMP and the people who are most likely perpetrators. I've seen it time and time again. And the RCMP are basically criminals. They're criminals. They are out and out criminals. And you can't really say that in society. There isn't really a nice way to put that, except by saying, oh, they're police officers and they're serving the world with their mighty and righteous blue costumes and their golden shields and all their incredible training and all the difficulties of learning to do their job and deal with difficult people and situations. But you imagine to be all wonderful and kind and an incredibly generous and risky use of their personal time, and why shouldn't they be paid well for the abuses that they manage to mete out to the human race? You think of how much money has been made by police forces in the world that can be scarcely distinguished from most of the occupying population. And the population of your land is an occupying force. You'll notice, I don't want to scare people, that in every nation of the world, the wealthiest people occupy a land and invade a land, and the indigenous people are supplanted. That's the same thing that happens to your spirit. Your spirit is supplanted. So you don't really live where you live. You live against your spirit the way you live against the people of that land. The people of their land, right? You need them because they help speak to your spirit about your spirit's habitation in that land. And if you can't feed your spirit in that land, you're dying. It's like you don't know how to eat or find any water, because you don't just need water and food. You need food for the spirit. Right? And this doesn't come from a Bible and a church at all. That place is for killing your spirit. It kills people's spirit. like heroin addicts, right? Church is for demeaning you, degrading you, and insulting you, and moving you around in the court of what's left of the existential possibilities of your guilt-ridden existence, and performing all kinds of mental arithmetic to make yourself feel better about the endless debt that's been attributed to your fucking flesh and blood out of your mother's own cunt. It's despicable. But I could scarcely sustain the argument that you are despicable for going along with it. Because it's powerful. And it holds sway over so many people for so many centuries. All these churches and banks, all these colonial populations that never seem to know very much about. When I talk to a white person and they tell me about the environment or their principles or everything they know in life, which they often like to do, they're always wrong. They're always wrong. White people have nothing true to say about anything. Nothing. It's amazing how they get through life. They misinterpret what's said to them. They miss everything important. They can't really learn anything new unless it's in the newspaper or TV or some salacious new research paper that's being shared around Facebook about how certain plants are invasive and you should kill them wherever you go. And that's all they need to know. It's not who's right, it's who's telling you what's right. There's global warming. Oh, the scientists tell me. Oh, there's cancer. The doctors talk about it. Evolution. The biologists tell me all about that. It's right. Have you ever thought to yourself, something must be right? Because powerful, educated people in authority say it's right. And how could they be wrong? You're fucked. You have no powers of independent thinking. A true scientist, a professional scientist will tell you, scientists can be wrong. In fact, the whole point of science is to be wrong, not to be right. You should spend your whole life as a scientist proving everything wrong. Why? Because if you can prove something wrong, you can improve our knowledge about what's right. Wow, fucking amazing. Hey, you shouldn't tie your shoes with fucking glass cutting fucking threads that are giving you scars all over your hands. I think that's wrong. Oh, okay. You know, it's more important to see what's wrong than it is to see what's right. If you want to do right, you have to know what's wrong. Professional scientists don't think they know anything. It's all provisional knowledge. It's just what you're working on today. You're born in the world, we've got this physics, this chemistry, okay, this is what we're working with, okay, good. You don't just discard what you're working with because, you're like, oh, it's all wrong, it has to be wrong, 500 years from now, it's all going to be wrong, so let's just, they even tell you all that's true is death and taxes. What does that mean about chemistry and physics? They don't say all that's true is the laws of physics. They say all that's true is death and taxes. Why? Why do we think that way? Why do we have those figures of speech? Because we're telling ourselves the truth. And yet death and taxes are not so real as you think. Your death is spread out in your ability to sustain abuses which bring you to lethal harm and lethal dislocation from the very spirit of your own mind on a daily basis. So your final demise, would be nothing except that it is something that can stand for a complete denial of your spirit. Day by day by day, and by the measures of that denial, which are every language, economic system, body language in the world, under quite an honest threat of being any other way but someone capable of emulating that threat and making it good and laundering it, right? When you believe lies, you're laundering lies, so they're not lies anymore, right? There's dirty money, you launder it, and it becomes like good money again. When we launder lies, we launder stupidity, we launder violence. Humans are laundering through their blood systems and their families, laundering all the shit of the world. So you're laundering so much shit, you're not going to air all the dirty laundry. To launder the shit, you don't want to maintain, and you shouldn't be maintaining a voice to describe all the shit you're laundering, because you wouldn't be a good launderer, would you? It wouldn't be so good if you took your clothes to the laundry and the launderer came to you a day later and said, you've got shit stains on your underwear, we've got pictures and forensic photos of your excrement all over a number of articles of your clothing. We think there's some blood samples here. Your clothing is, it's disgusting, it's ugly, I don't like you as a person, But because we launder, we can talk about what we're laundering. We at least have that, but people don't, because they have to be good launderers. So when people, as this man named Sir Rutherford about 200 years ago said, even 200 years ago, people have lost the ability to learn. Albert Einstein said, people have lost the ability to learn. Why are these people telling you this? Because that's what they want from you. They don't want you to be able to learn new things. They want you to be able to learn new languages, new ways of signaling and gaining power, and the knowledge that is like the laundered lies, which are more powerful than the real truth. So science can say whatever it wants. It doesn't have to be correct. There doesn't even have to be subatomic particles. We don't really know that. It's the kind of knowing that it's not like myth in the sense of being false. It's more of a heroic myth. It's like it works as long as you don't think of reason as a living thing you were born with. Right? Subatomic particles are a mathematical farce. They're a conceptual mathematical chimera, like the atom and everything else. The substance of matter is still up for grabs. And what you'll probably find is it's ethereal. And what does quantum physics say? Oh, it's all mind and matter. It's ethereal energy. What Jung called the psychoid, which is really he was describing sort of gestalt experiences that showed a kind of atypical synchronicity between your sense of your environment, or your environment per se, and the workings of your own mind and your own sense of meaningfulness and order, as you could arrive at a sort of aesthetic synesthesia or symbiosis with the vast living world around you. That was a psychoid experience. In fact, I described it better than he did, actually. But it shouldn't be so atypical. It's a matter of the very substance of reality itself, the substance of the mind. Physics at core is an ethereal physics that begins in your mother's womb. And the greatness of that physics begins and ends in your bonds with your mother, and the primal powers of those bonds as they sustain the true living measures of the heavens and the earth and all the knowledge and power thereof. That's what's born when you were born. That's what's born when the sun is born. If you had all knowledge, you would sit here and you would watch the sunrise and go, look, it's all knowledge. Look at it. All knowledge is coming to fruition. All knowledge is being born. All knowledge is being sustained. All knowledge has a voice. All knowledge is warming the earth. All knowledge is resonating in our own minds. All knowledge is coming out of our mouths. All knowledge is singing with the rising sun. All knowledge is going to bring us about the occupations which give us the greatest joy. Why doesn't all knowledge do that? Instead, all knowledge gives you fucking cancer. It makes you put fucking lotion on your skin to protect yourself from the fucking sun, because your lotion is cancerous. Like, protect myself from cancer by putting it all over my skin to protect myself from a sun that is accused of being a dead, cancerous piece of shit. Right? That's not the song of knowledge, motherfucker. And you'll never convince me that it is, because I have a fucking spirit. I have blood. Cut me and I will fucking bleed, motherfucker. That's the song of my spirit. And at that point, I should like have grab an artery and just spray it. It's like, see, there's the blood of my spirit right there. They're like, fuck, dude, this guy is real, man. This guy is flat. This guy is flip-flap. This guy is, woo, Folsom 5. Check out this shit, motherfucker. Black people in their cribs would be like, dude, everyone, black people, come and watch this. Put away your rap music. This guy's got the shit. I want to get this guy a gold chain and a tattoo that says Otis was here. Sorry. I don't mean to be racist. I love the idea. I like black people. A lot of the most beautiful people in the world, smartest, great, in the ways that I'm describing, full of spirit. You know? Song, movement, elegance. Look at their bodies. They have the song of knowledge inside of them. You know, when knowledge is found on this earth, it's going to be black. You know what I mean? Woo! Black people are going to take to it right away. Like, whoa, yeah, I've been singing to this shit all my life. And it is the music of the cosmos, and not some abstract music that made by Bach or Vivaldi. The music of like your funk. The music that could bring you together in the greatest, most powerful army in the world, and everyone would be like, "Hey, dude, let's just smoke a joint. We have no one to fight, because the greatest army would have defeated its greatest enemy, which lives in the abstract world, by power of suggestion over a mind that has already been handicapped by the time it's born, because your predator can't stand the idea of you having a chance to fight back. You can march for peace all the fucking days of your life, but you march to death and nothing else. The protesters must might as well have signs saying, "I want to die. I want to die. Give me my rights. I love death." You don't realize you're doing that. You're saying peace and unity. You're saying, "Kill me, I'm dead. Take as many as you can. Kill my children, suck their blood, eat them up in the name of love. Yay!" That's all you're saying. That's all you say. Until you let your spirit loose. Then it's not going to fit on a piece of cardboard. It's not going to be something that enjoys being around groups going, give me rights, you fuckers. We're free. You got to fight for your rights. What do you got to fight for? You got to fight for your rights? I fight to live, motherfucker. I don't know about you. I fight for every fucking breath. I don't have the luxury of rights. That just takes all my fucking breath away. Oh, rights. Oh, yeah, the amendments. Oh, my God, the Constitution. Oh, what a waste of time. I fucking breathe to live, motherfucker. Your mind will take the shape of the pressures you think your mind needs to contend with, and the names of your enemies. If you don't know the names of your enemies and the pressures upon your mind will never fully develop. You must know the names of your enemies. I say to people, what you really need to do is go to the highest hilltop and scream the names of your enemies. I scream the names of my enemies every day. Okay, let's go. I've actually stayed here a little too long, but that's okay. This time of year, I tend to make that mistake. Because I like sitting around. What can I tell you? I'm lazy by nature. I've spent the last 4 months walking the most difficult walk every possible day. I can't believe how fucking far I walk every day. And now I should criticize it. Like, I called it the G4. And after a woman named Giselle who sexually assaulted me in a pot store one day. And it was kind of like the straw that broke the camel's back, although that's not very nice. Poor camel. It's just sort of like, that's it. And sometimes I couldn't believe, like, in smaller scales, I've always known my life that sometimes if you walk a lot, it's time to walk somewhere else. You get the sign, you get the signal. Time to drift, time to migrate. You can spend too much time in one place. People who start to see you regularly, other weird people that come up to you because they've seen you a lot, and all these things, it cripples the joy that I can get from walking. Or if not, I just know, like, that's fine, but if I walk somewhere else, this all goes away. You realize that you sustain abuses that you don't always say aloud because you've accepted, no matter what you go, even walking in nature, that you're going to sustain stress from human beings. You know that. You go to work, you go live in this country, you go this relationship, these people, at different times in your life. You know you're going to sustain unwanted energy from humans. And and you deny it until you're like, okay, I'm going to go walk somewhere else. I'm going to go work somewhere else. I'm going to go live somewhere else. I'm going to get a different boyfriend or girlfriend. I can't take this anymore. I wonder if something else would be better than this. Anything would be better than this. This person's mother and father talk shit about me.
have a good spirit, you'll see that people always seem to find a reason to malign you. They can't handle a clean, beautiful spirit. They have to start pissing all over you, because that's all they know. They feel uncomfortable unless they crap in your space. Sounds strange, doesn't it? But it's strangely explanatory of human behavior. You know, they're like monkeys. At their worst, humans will just, oh, what a lovely house you have. Let me start spewing excrement all over it. Because, you know, no matter who they are, they like things filthy. You know, I may not shower every day, but there are many people who shower for an hour every day who are not filthier than I. And not all the fucking soap and water in the world is ever going to fucking clean you. Right? You know that, right? I haven't used soap or shampoo on my head for almost 20 years. Does that scare you? My hair doesn't fall out. It's lustrous. People are fucking jealous of my hair. I never go to a hairdresser. I never have to do anything with it except rub my scalp vigorously from time to time, or daily when I'm in the bath. That's it. I mean, think of the thousands of dollars I'm going to save in my lifetime, right? And it's like TV. You use shampoo, it irritates your scalp. It rids it of